Greetings, everybody. I am swimming. I am Lobo, and welcome to episode 77 of my Minecraft survival series. And today we are back here at our Guardian farm, and the goal for today's episode is we need to get a storage system built in here because we got those 3 chests up there and they are filling up. We are on the last chest right now. The bottom 2 chests are full. I checked it just a few minutes ago, so we got some time before that top chest actually fills up. But what I've done in the time I've been over here is just took some dirt and kind of traced out some areas where our pillars are going to be, our support pillars, because we're going to have a structure up here, and that structure is going to house our storage system, amongst other things. So we want to make sure that it's at the right height, because we can't get a good idea of just having this one little central pillar in here. I think we need to get the 4 surrounding pillars in here to get a good idea of the width compared to the height, compared to whatever else we need to compare it to, just to make sure everything looks right. So basically, where it's sitting right now, that height that the floor is sitting at right now, that's not set in stone. Because if we decide we need to make it higher or lower, we need to do that before we actually get this thing built, because it's going to be much easier just to move those few things up and down than it will be to move an entire storage system. So let me go ahead and explain what I'm thinking for this area. We're going to be changing a lot of stuff up here. Like, we're not leaving just the plain ocean monument base that we built the Guardian farm on top of. That would be way too simple. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some of our own structure in here. Now, we're not going to get into the detail work today, I don't think. I think today we're just doing some basic planning with stone brick. But we want to figure out like how we're going to run these pillars up here, because, you know, we need to make sure they're going to be able to support this structure. And this is going to be one of several structures that we actually build out here. Because this is Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility. That is the official name of this area, and it will be just as big, if not bigger, than any other district of our city. So first things first, let's go ahead and worry about this platform that we're on right now. I want to go ahead and get all these pillars built up, and then connect them all with just a stone brick tracing an outline of what our platform is going to look like. So I think at this point, it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and call Watchdog out here, let him know what we're up to. We'll put on a little bit of music, and just get a basic outline of this structure built. Well, I just placed the last brick, and now we have like a general idea of what this place is ultimately going to look like. So if we go to the corner here, you can see we have these very thick pillars built up here to support the big structure that we're going to build on top of that. Now, these pillars are actually going to be thicker than they currently are. We're going to be building them out a little bit more when we put the details and all that stuff in. So yeah, there's going to be some heft to these. And I think we're probably going to do something to the inside of them as well, because, you know, we can't let all that space go to waste. But yeah, I think you can still see Watchdog up here. I haven't logged him out yet. You can see Watchdog way up there on top of that water pillar, like way, way, way up there, a little tiny dot. I don't know if you can see him or not. I can barely see him. But yeah, I hope that time lapse turns out okay, because I did this like little trick at the end in that last shot. I don't know how it turned out yet, where I have Watchdog standing on top of a slime block looking down through water, so that way he has a condo effect and the slime block is invisible. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. I'll have a peek at that in a few minutes. But let's go ahead and have a peek at this structure from a distance to just make sure that that's a good height and width for it. And I think it is. I think that is going to work for us. Now this platform right here, this is going to house much more than our storage system. This is going to be much more than a Guardian farm. I think this platform is going to be the main platform in a series of platforms, which will also, this one right here that we're looking at will also probably house our base, our little mini base over here at the Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility. But possibly, I don't know, I haven't gotten that far yet. Jeez, a man can't look at his work and contemplate without getting attacked. It's just so rude. Yeah, sometimes I like to just like stare at stuff for a little while and try to visualize it and figure out what I'm doing. But then I get arrows to the face. So since that last clip, I went ahead and drew out a couple more concentric squares in here just to kind of get a layout in my head how this place is ultimately going to look. So I think as far as our storage system goes, the storage system is probably going to be housed within this quadrant right here and this quadrant right here of this big central square, which will all be comprised of one big structure that's going to take up that entire central square, the 4 quadrants of it. And that will be the horizontal plane, the plan for the horizontal plane of this. Now let's go ahead and talk about vertical. So you see here, we have these supports right here. Like these lines are basically just going to be supports. And we'll build them out a little bit, probably before we even get a floor in here, but our floor is actually going to be on this level right here, I think, 2 blocks above the actual supports, because I think that will give us enough room to actually run a decent amount of chests in here and have a decent amount of space for storage of all our prismarine and all that mess. It'll also make the floor look much thicker to support this structure, which is good. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can have a column of 5 high chests. And we'll do several of those. That should give us plenty of storage. I mean, depending on how many we can fit into this area. But yeah, I think we should go ahead and, since this is filling up, we should go ahead and start getting some of this built out. Now, before we actually do build the floor, before we can build the storage system, we need to build the floor. And before we build the floor, we actually need to go ahead and get some of these like central areas in the supports filled in. Because once we do build a floor over top of them, they're going to be a little hard to reach. So as far as the block palette that we're going to use for this build, I'm thinking prismarine is probably the obvious choice. Maybe that's actually a little bit too obvious, but then again, I think that is probably going to look the best and represent what this build is all about. So what type of prismarine should we use then? We have, you know, the regular prismarine, we have prismarine bricks, and we have dark prismarine. With regular prismarine being the easiest to craft, I want to make up some stairs with these. We'll go ahead and try the regular prismarine, and we'll also try prismarine bricks. I think dark prismarine might be a little bit too much. I can't actually craft these right now, so we need to make sure we got enough of these shards to make prismarine brick stairs. Just no! So let's just go ahead and look at these side by side. We have our prismarine brick stairs in here now. Over here, we're going to place some regular prismarine stairs and just have a peek at this and see which one we like better, which is going to bridge the gap between these supports the best. And we're only looking at it from underneath, really, because remember, on top here, there's going to be a completely separate floor. You're not going to be able to see any of that from up top. So from underneath, I gotta say, first impressions, I'm leaning towards the regular prismarine. And it's not me being cheap, because even though it is cheaper to craft, it's only 4 shards per prismarine instead of 9 versus with the prismarine bricks. I do think that the regular prismarine just looks a little bit better from under here, and it serves our needs a little bit better. So I think that's probably what we are going to roll with. Hello, dolphin friend. What do you think? Can I get your opinion? Whee! That's fun. That's fun. Oh yeah, and the prismarine, the regular prismarine changes color as well. I do like that gray it takes on. So if we're rolling with prismarine, I don't think we necessarily have to commit to the stairs right away. We could also try out half slabs because that is also much cheaper than stairs, and we can afford to do a whole lot more with what we have on hand. So let's go ahead and peek down here real quick and just see which of these we like better, which works better. So just looking at it, I gotta say that I am liking these stairs a little bit better, and you can already see I've already started with them, but I did want to give half slabs a shot, just because I thought that might give us a little bit of added depth with the stone. But I think the added depth with the stairs is actually better, and then we could maybe even put like a row of, you know, stone or stone brick half slabs like next to the prismarine. That might actually give it a little bit more depth. But in either case, I thought the half slabs were at least worth a shot. You know, choosing the prismarine over the prismarine bricks, that was not me being cheap. Trying to suggest the half slabs, that was. So I was working on getting some of these areas filled in, but I've just run out of prismarine stairs. The cool part about working at this farm, though, is the fact that our resources are constantly replenishing themselves. I don't know if you can really see any of the guardians down there, but they are within wandering distance of us, so we are getting more and more prismarine going into the farm. I think he was drowned over there. Yeah, so the mobs are moving around. They're getting sent throughout the system. So yeah, we'll just wait for our resources to replenish themselves, and then we'll continue with the stairs and stuff like that. But the next thing I think we need to do is go ahead and get these holes kind of filled in. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I think we're probably, oh, look at that sunset. Look at that. Squirrel? No, we don't see enough of these. We don't see enough sunsets here. That's nice. That's nice. Now, since the Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility is a subsidiary of Wolfins Laboratory, you know we're bringing the cyan terracotta back here. That's going to be a theme throughout the Wolfins builds, and we're just recessing it into these areas between the individual supports. Just to give it a little bit more darkness, a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more contrast as well. You know, I think that should look pretty good. And of course, like I said before, you're not going to be able to see any of this from above. It's only going to be visible from below. So just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about, let me go ahead and show you this little visual aid I constructed here. We're going to have a gray concrete powder walkway that goes over these supports, okay? And on either side of that, we're going to have buildings. Like this will be our storage building on this side. And let me go ahead and construct this a little bit just to kind of demonstrate that for you. That's going to be our storage building. On the opposite side of this road, we're going to have another building that's going to go like this. And these buildings are not going to be constructed out of stone bricks, not likely, but you know, I'm just using this as an example for right now. We're not constructing the buildings today. But this building is probably going to go on past that little support right there and come out to this back support right here, just so we can have a good size to the building. That way out here we can have another concrete powder walkway that kind of, you know, lets us walk the perimeter of this platform. But yeah, I mean, that's just the idea I'm rolling with right now. It is subject to change like every idea I have. But yeah, all this was just to give you some kind of idea as to what all the words spilling from my mouth actually mean. But I think now we are in a position to actually get started on the storage system. So first of all, we put our chests in here. So this is going to be the level of our floor, and this will offer us access to all of our chests in each column. The chests are 5 high, and we have 6 columns on each side, 5 per the various Prismarine stuff. We'll have 1 for ink on this side, and we'll have 1 column for rotten flesh on this side. Now, the reason why I'm not throwing the rotten flesh away is because, you know, we're going to have researchers over here, and they're probably going to be clerics, or at least one among them will be a cleric, and we can go ahead and trade that rotten flesh for emeralds, make a little bit of money while we're over here. I mean, there's no harm in that, right? That's always a good business practice to make money, right? So I think at this point, we got the general layout of our storage room in. We need to go ahead and start running our hopper lines around all these chests, and also I need to empty the contents of these chests and get rid of those because those are no longer going to be there. So let me go ahead and take care of that. Easy enough. We got our hoppers in place now, and let me go ahead and explain like how all this is going to work. So this right here, this will be where items are input into our storage and sorting system. It's actually blocked off right now. Let me go ahead and show you that. I have it blocked off currently, so that way we don't fill our sorting system with a bunch of junk. So they're all waiting right there to go into, you know, the various chests. But we need to go ahead and get a sorting system in place. So we're going to have various item sorters around here. I mean, not just behind the chest where we're putting stuff, but also right here. We have 4 junk items that we actually want to sort out before those items get into our storage system. So there's going to be cod, salmon, puffer fish, and tropical fish. Now, those aren't natural spawns. Like, all those fish don't spawn in this biome right here. Those are drops from when a player kills a guardian. So we will occasionally get those fish going into our system, and I don't want them. We're not using them for anything. We're not going to be eating them. We're not going to be using them for anything. So I actually want them out of here. So what we're going to do is we're going to divert those fish along this path right here. And let me go ahead and get a couple more of these hoppers put in. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking those fish away from the storage system, and we're going to be releasing them. And the thing is, they're not naturally spawned fish. So what we're going to be doing is we are releasing them into a stream, but since they're guardians in disguise, we're going to be actually releasing them into a stream that leads to a cactus. Now, as far as how we're going to be sorting our items, we're going with the standard, the gold standard, the Impulse SV item sorters, which are always dependable and which I use in abundance throughout this world. So let me go ahead and start getting those built in. Now, we've already got the sorters for the fish built in. I've got the sorters for the Prismarine shards and for our ink built in. And right over here, this is going to be our sorters for the Prismarine crystals, right? Prismarine crystals, because you mix those with Prismarine shards to make sea lanterns. Anyway, as far as this sorting system goes, I'm not really going to talk you through it. I mean, it's very simple to construct, as you can see. Like, I have it pretty much committed to memory at this point, but I will post a link in the description for anybody that would like to actually see how this is built, understand how this works, because, you know, it's a great system to have. It's very simple, like I said, and it's super, super dependable. It's got overflow protection and everything you could ever want from a sorting system. And also, once I get these last few redstone dusts in here, we're done. That's it. That's all there is to it. So now we have this side all built in right here. We have the other side all built in over here. And once I get our filler blocks put in and all our items to be sorted into the proper hopper, we can go ahead and open this thing back up. And I just remembered this last module is not even needed, the one behind the chest with the picture of the rotten flesh on it, because it's not just for rotten flesh, it's for anything that's not sorted throughout our sorting system. Because we get bones and stuff too for some reason, and you know, I'm sure there's other stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, that's not just for rotten flesh, that's just like a general overflow chest column. So now we've got our water streams open back up. Everything should be operational at this point, and I'm just putting in the contents of our chests that we had in here previously, letting those get sorted throughout the system. Plus we got items coming up from our actual farm as we're doing this. So this is a good test run. We have all our fish running in through here, and I think we should probably go ahead and get our item disposal system in here pretty soon before this thing starts backing up and then we get fish going into the overflow chest. Now unfortunately I don't have any cactus on me or sand, but luckily there is a desert right over here, so I think that's where we're probably going to go ahead and borrow that stuff from. And actually, since it is getting dark, it might be a good idea to sleep because deserts are a little dangerous. It's so funny how all the islands off of our ocean are just teeming with life. Look at all these little bunnies around here. I'm just going to borrow this bunnies if you don't mind. I'm also going to need to take a couple pieces of sand, and I do appreciate your contribution to my farm over here. You know what, guys? In fact, if you ever want to come over and hang out, feel free to. It's right over this way. You can't miss it. Now, as far as what we're doing with that sand and cactus, we're basically just going to take our overflow items and drop them right onto there, our excess items. Same thing over here. We'll take our fish and we'll just spit them out right into this cactus right here. So basically what we're going to do, I guess we can go ahead and get this thing wired up together. So let's go ahead and build out a little bit of a platform here to put our wiring on, and we'll put this right here, and that's going to be the block that actually powers that dropper. What we're going to do is we're going to take we're not taking arrows from the dropper, we're going to take a comparator output from the dropper. So that comparator is on because there are items in the dropper. When there's fish in here, that comparator will turn on. That's what's going to power this clock that we're about to build. So let's go ahead and get some repeaters out here. We'll go ahead and get this. That's not a repeater. Let's go ahead and get this clock in place. We just need some redstone dust circling back in on itself just like that. And then once we put that comparator in subtract mode, that activates the clock. Now all we have to do is hook it up to this block right here, and then it will start spitting its items out into the cactus to be destroyed so they're not taking up valuable space in this world, because we already have enough lag lower down in this farm. We don't need more from all these items sitting out in the open. Now we are going to be blocking this in so our items cannot escape like those fish tried to do right there. And we're also going to need some glass over top. First of all, so the cactus does not grow, and second of all, to keep the items in up there. So that's pretty much all there is to that. Now over here, we're doing the exact same thing. We have it wired up the exact same way, except for the dropper will be spitting downward like this. So that should all be operational at this point. Once items go in there, it starts spitting it downward to the cactus, but we don't have it glassed in yet, so the items are going everywhere. Once we do have it glassed in though, the items will go straight down onto the top of the cactus and be destroyed. So let's go ahead and get these all the way down in here like this. And this is also going to have the added benefit, since cacti cannot grow next to a block. When it tries to grow, it's going to go ahead and break on these glass and then basically destroy itself. So it's always going to stay at 1 high. So that is it for our item disposal. So now that our storage system is officially complete and functional, I think even our fish have worked their way out of here. I think all our fishies are gone. Yep, they definitely are. And the cool thing about this is that our prismarine stocks, the longer we're here, the more they replenish themselves. Like we have almost this whole bottom chest coming in now, which is awesome. I think at this point, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and start figuring out the interior of this room, what everything's going to look like. And now the thing is, I'm probably not going to do this on camera because it's such a small room. There's not a whole lot we can do with it. And also, you've seen like the standard Wolfins laboratory type designs that we've done in other builds. So I think the plan as of right now is I'm not going to worry about doing this on camera. I think I'm just going to go ahead and get it done, because by the time we come back, you guys will easily be able to see what I ended up doing. So I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I will see you guys back here in just a few minutes. So once I get these last few slabs in over these chests so that way you can't see through them, I think we should be pretty much done with the interior of this room. Now, as I said, this is fairly simple, so we'll just go ahead and walk in here real quick and you can see pretty much everything I've done. I mean, the bulk of the room is just storage for the essentials. That's pretty much what our walls are, is they're just walls of chests. We just added some acacia logs along the borders here. We got our stone slabs up here next to our little viewing room right here where we can see our items go up and then fall down. You know, I thought that might be a cool little feature, something to add to this. We got our sea lanterns in the ceiling here because since we can mass produce sea lanterns now, that is going to be our primary light source for this area. And the reason why I wait till nighttime is just because I want to make sure that those 4 sea lanterns were going to be sufficient to light this area to make sure we don't have mobs and stuff spawning here. I think that is probably going to work for us. So yeah, I mean, that's the interior of this room. Like I said, pretty simple and very, very convenient. Now, the next thing I want to do before we end off this episode is we have some more work to do out here, and I would kind of like to get this done. So I think what I'm going to do is I have some stuff to do. I'm going to go AFK for a little while, and then once I come back, I'm hoping we're going to have enough prismarine to go ahead and get the rest of this, not really floor, but like subfloor in place. So that's the plan. Tonight when I come back, I'll probably call up Watchdog. If we have enough prismarine, we'll try to get the rest of this done. So if that does work out, if that in fact ends up working out, you'll see a time lapse starting in about now. So I didn't even have to end up waiting because I've just realized we had a ton of prismarine left over from when we actually tore down the ocean monument. So that definitely came in handy, which means we can save up all our prismarine shards and stuff like that to actually do some dark prismarine to work on Wolfins Laboratory's roof, which is pretty cool. And we got more items coming in as we speak. I'm still going to go AFK so we can build up our stocks. But I think as of right now, we are in a pretty good place to call it for today. I just want to have a peek under here and see what the bottom of this platform looks like. There's going to be a lot more stuff going on under here, but I think so far this is looking pretty cool. This will give you an idea of the general color palette that we're going to be using for this build. I cannot actually get up here. Let's just hop up here real quick. So yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. I am missing a stair. Yep. So that takes care of that, and now we can go down here and have a peek. Okay, well, I was going to say we can have a peek at this without the conduit effect going, but yeah, now we're going to have to wait for that to wear off again. Let's just make sure there's no more stairs missing in the meanwhile. I don't see any. I think we're good. I think we are good. So this will wear off now, and oh, that's so dark. It looks pretty cool. We'll get rid of those lighting glitches like around the stairs. Well, because that's just... I'm back in the water, aren't I? And the conduit effect is back on. Okay, well anyway, that stuff will be taken care of. Like I said, there's a lot more detail and stuff to come under here, but that is for another time. Because that is all the time that we have for today. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you would like to see more... Oh, let me fix my camera. That was bad. Can we jump now, please? Okay, there we go. If you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.